Okay, so this date is the 11th of the 5th, 2020, and it's 11 minutes past 1. Serendipitously enough. So, bit of a wintry day here in Nelson, top of the South Island. It's 11 minutes past 1 on the 11th of the 5th, 2020. And we're going to go over a few more things. Just wait for a couple of people to come to the table. And so we're going to go over some more information about the laws, different rules and regulations and the laws. These ones, the real simple ones, and those ones there, the not so simple ones. We're going to do it under these umbrellas and with this kaupapa, and that's the way we move forward, which gives us motion, which causes energy, and energy is motion, and it's emotion. It's energy and motion. That's how that works. G'day Rob, thanks for joining us. Hope your day's going well out there. Just going to go over a few more things, a few more interesting things to help us to navigate the uncharted waters we're in at the moment. Going to go over a few of the different laws, those laws and those laws, and how they all been confused, so we can get back at the head with our temples and our crown and be the masters of our ships and our vessels. That's what it's all about. And again, under the guise of caveat emptor, the Latin words meaning buyer beware. And that doesn't mean purchases across the counter. That means everything that you take on. G'day Sly, thanks for joining us. Not much of a day here in Nelson, eh? So I thought I'd just go live. Got my teddy in the window there. Supposed to have our teddies in the window, aren't we? That's what the great leaders told us. Have your teddies in the window. So, yeah, here we are again. It's the 11th of the 5th, is it? Was it? Yeah, 11th of the 5th, 2020. Come to you live out of here in Nelson. Not much of a day, so I thought I'd come online and just see who's about. We're going to cover a little bit more information, because if we have information, then we're information, which means we're united. And we can be in unity. And then we can be in common unity, which is community. It's pretty simple stuff. And so anything I'm telling you, anything you read, anything you hear on the news, any information that you're garnering, because remember, garnets are gems, information's power, that's how that works. Information is gems, folks, because you garner it, garnets. And as we know, as I've said to you before, information is power. Information's power, folks. Because you become the knoll. You're standing on the knoll, on the edge of things, so you can see a lot more of what's going on. And all these bits of information give us pieces to form a bigger picture of things. And that's what we want. We want a bigger picture of things. We want to be able to comprehend what's going on around us. Not only around us, but inside of us, internally as well. You know? Got to get back to those internals. Excuse me. Got to get back to the truth, which is at the heart of the matter, isn't it? And if it doesn't matter, then you won't mind. Because if you don't mind, it doesn't matter. It's pretty simple stuff. And home's where the heart is. Home's where the heart is. And so some of the information sometimes incites us. But eventually, it'll bring us this kind of insight. Especially words like this can infuriate people or cause all sorts of anxiety or love. It depends, isn't it? It might incite and it might incite. Remember what love was? That's what we are. That's what we are. We know this. We're just having a physical experience for a time, garnering more of this stuff and that. Empowerment, folks, that's what it's about. So again, you know, anything I tell you, anything you read, buyer beware, caveat emptor, buyer beware, let those that be deceived be deceived. And unfortunately, through a lot of the, because again, we're going to get back to the smorgasbord of truth over here, because there's more gas on this board. There's more gas on this board of truth. In fact, it's never ending. It's one of those never-ending stories. G'day, Matthew. Thanks for joining us. Just going over a few more bits and pieces. Going to do a bit more deciphering. Remember the ciphers? So all this is ciphers. All this code. It's code. There's signs. They're characters, caricatures. Things that we interpret on different levels. And when we put pen into thought, then we think. That's how it works. And that gives us insight, which gives us pause. Otherwise known as a full stop or a period. A period, yeah. Pause is a period, which is a full stop. Which again gives us time to think. And if we don't sound our thoughts, then we sink. But with despelling and descripting and designing or designing, designs, these are all signs, remember, we can start to drink from the liquidity of you. And we can start to get a handle on our you and some foundation. See how that works? That's how that works. That's how that works, folks. Because it's all, remember, all about vibration and waves. We like to wave when we have a goodbye, don't we? Or a hello. So we've got to start looking at things in different ways. I just want to show you this actually, because it's a about cymatics. It's water at 440 hertz. Because remember, hertz, energy, hertz, frequency, frequent. It's at 432. See how the vibration, the structure is different? It's called cymatics. That's at 432 hertz. Water. It's nothing but frequency, folks. It's all about frequency. Hey, it's all about frequency, tone, vibration, the power of the sound. We like sound, don't we? Because it sounds good. Frequency, sound. See how that works? That's how that works, folks. And we like to wave, don't we? Of course we do. Of course we do. We know how it works now. We know how it all works. Frequency, pitch, volume. It's waves, frequency, folks. That's what we are. Do you see how that works? And when we're in tune, excuse me, when we're in tune, we atone, don't we? And then we're in a chord, on and for the record. It anchors things. Again, it's about the vibration, the frequency and the sound. And it's all about your ability to be able to decode and decipher and design and dispel the frequencies that you're receiving. Because you are the receptor. Remember, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. So we listen twice and we speak once. We want to use, not abuse, the many talents and dimensions of intuition that we have on our paths to growth, learning and expanding with knowledge. We learn, we earn. It's a lesson of earning, is to learn. And you don't want to be getting this kind of data. Garbage in, garbage out. That's computer language. Okay, language, the gauge. The gauge of those who languish on the land, perhaps. Maybe. So all these frequencies that we're receiving and being exposed to, and the ones to come, have been getting us into the little chat sessions of Discord. Unfortunately, it's in Discord. Discord is over here. Over here. You go into those groups called Discord. Now, we don't want to be out of accordance, do we? We want to be in accordance with things. With our knowledge. And our now. And our knowing. Because once you know it, you can't unknow it. And also in this word you'll see, I've talked about the knoll on the edge before. You also got to know where the ledge is, folks. Otherwise you fall into deep water. You can fall into deep water, folks. And there, you'll be drowning. You won't be drinking. You'll be drowning. Because like I've talked to you before about the world of the living and the world of the dead. The dead is admiralty, commercial, banking law. That's what it is, folks. And like they are getting you out of this vessel over here and getting you to put your hand up and play their game over here. We want to stay on the land. Remember, because all these frequencies, they're sound, aren't they? It's sound. And sound gives us grounding. Because it's solid, isn't it? The ground is solid. It's sound. Do you see how that works? It gives us the foundation. A grounded foundation on the land, in common unity, because all that revolves around that, you see. Not that sea over here, not the one we're drowning in, the admiralty, commercial, banking law, and the jurisdiction that's over here. We want to get back on the land, to get her, together, to get her, Papatuanuku. That's who it's to get. And now one of the biggest rebellious things you could be doing is planting gardens, folks. That's how that works. Spit on your seeds and put them in the earth. Right where the heels and the soles of your feet are. because that's what it does. It heals your soul when you're back on the land. Do you see how that works? And that takes the stuff. Comprehension, understanding, learning, to be mindful. That's what it's all about, and that's what knowledge does. Because it's to each, isn't it? It's to each in their own, that knowledge. It's to each in their own, because you have your own intuition, don't you? Your own senses. You have your own senses, and they measure frequencies. Oh, and those frequencies are comforting, aren't they? Like something that's frequent, like, oh, the mailman drops your letters off at 10 o'clock every morning. Oh, that's good frequency. You like that because you get comfort from frequent things, don't we? But there's certain frequencies that aren't in a tone, and they're not in a tune, and they don't vibe. And so for those, when you're intuiting those kind of frequencies, then you know it's not in accord with your truth. That's how you can tell. But you've got to be in control of your vessel. Because if you're dealing in a form of communication, one of the biggest conspiracies out there, a form of communication that has duplicity and doublespeak and division and discord built into it, then we are not communicating in accordance with our truth and our natural being, the natural state of our being. Remember that again? I'll just remind you. That's the natural state of our being. Okay? See it vibrating? Because I can't hold my phone still. But that's what's happening. And this is how it all works. It's pretty simple stuff. It's pretty simple stuff, folks. Hey, remember that? Don't forget that. Well, you can't. The universe won't let you forget that. It'll keep reminding you to be the master of your ship, to have foresight, using your temples and your crown, becoming the master of your vessel. And then you can very quickly determine, because it rings true, doesn't it? Truth. Again, it's sound, folks. That's how that works. That's how that works. Seeing sounds rings true. And these are all symbols, aren't they? These are all symbols, all this stuff. It's just symbols on a board. And yet, you are interpreting from these sounds information. Now, if you are getting information that is being misinterpreted by you, then you're going to get yourselves in a lot of rudder, a lot of discord. Of course, there's a horse, of course, because that's what's built into this form of. It's actually a form of disconnect. It's very, very clever, extremely clever. But it's a tool. This is a tool. And so what I'm showing you and what you're starting to comprehend is that this is all spellings. It's all spellings, all very cleverly designed to keep yous all separated. But once you understand this, once you know the trick of the magician and how he's getting you to look over here when the real bizzo's going on somewhere else, once you can see that, the subliminal is no longer subliminal. Subliminal means below threshold of comprehension. So our senses, sight, sound, smell, touch, taste, they have certain limits. And this is where we take all that information from those senses and we intuit. And that's to each and their own on their ship, on their little vessel. That's to each and their own. But if we're dealing with a language that's been very cleverly designed to keep us in a state of discord, then realizing it and dispelling it and deciphering it and comprehending the messages and the true objectives of this type of communication going on, then it becomes null and void. And not only that, we can start picking this stuff up and using it in the most powerful ways and getting our language, our intone, our atonement, our accordance, the core of us, the chorus. Once we start getting back to the harmony and the chorus of things, and once this stuff starts ringing out, and it's going to, folks, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. You cannot stop this stuff from seeing the light of day. Okay? I should stand around there, it's a bit lighter for you. And that's what our job is. All you guys that come and, on these pages that we frequent, these platforms, the social media things, we're the ones that need to be out there and spreading this stuff around, folks. Because you need to be in voice, in harmony. And that's done through communication, common unity. And when we're dealing with stuff that's built to get us into discord, then we're not going to move very far forward. You see, because paper's called stationary, isn't it, folks? It's stationary. Why is it stationary? Because it doesn't go anywhere until you put your thought into the ink. Okay? Once you put thought into ink, that's power. Then you have motion. And if we comprehend this stuff and start getting to the point where we are the ones that are casting the spells, rather than us being spellbound, if we can start casting these spells, it's unstoppable. It's just unstoppable. Once you start vibrating, recognizing internally, remember, thought flows where energy goes. And energy goes where thought flows, folks. It's pretty simple stuff. Because if you don't mind, it won't matter. Hey, that's how it works. It's pretty simple stuff. Got to get back to the heart of the matter, folks. Because the truth's at the heart of the matter. And home is where the heart is. Okay, I'm going to keep reiterating this stuff because it's pretty simple, but we forget so easily. Because there's so much going on. Our little vessels out there on stormy seas and uncharted waters. But it's an opportunity, folks. You can't find new land if you don't leave the shore. That's for sure, isn't it? Are you sure about that? Yes, because we want to be on the land. And the thing about the sea and the water is underneath it is the land. Got to get back to the land, folks. Get back to the land and understand and overstand and understand what's going on. You can only do that on land. In the water, in the world of the dead, you're drowning. Over here with all your legal fictions, your person that they've created at your birth through your certificate, created the corporation, got you bound to the rules, the regulations, the acts, the statutes and the legislation, using your authority because you've lost your own authorship. You lost your own authorship. You gave it away. It was all by consent though, folks. You all consented unknowingly, but hey, that's what this language is. It's deception and doublespeak by its very nature. Actually, I've got that. I've got that one there. There it is, doublespeak. That's it. So doublespeak, doublespeak is language that deliberately obscures, disguises, distorts or reverses the meanings of words. Doublespeak may take the form of euphemisms, in which case it is primarily meant to make the truth sound more palatable. There's that food for thought, folks. It may also refer to intentional ambiguity in language or actual inversions of meaning. And this is our language, folks. This is it. And this is how, very cleverly, and this is why you don't understand. You think, oh, how can the government do that? Why can they do that? You know, everything Hitler did was legal. It was all legal, folks. Over here in the world of the dead, it was all legal. They can do all that stuff. Over here, where you've got rights, inalienable rights, given to you at birth. Remember the birth? Being of earth. Beings of earth, aren't we? That's what birth is. And you know how, remember I've gone over how the ship breaks the waters, comes down the canal, enters at the dock at the berth, where the dock has to fill out a certificate of manifestation because something's arrived. It's the same thing with your birth. The womb of man, the woman out there. And you'll get contracts, won't you? You'll get contracts. Contracts are over here. They're contractions. Contracts are painful, aren't they, mums? Contracts are painful. Of course they are. Tract. It's not written very clearly. Contract, remember, this is it. Over here, the cons, piracy. The cons, the criminals, pirating your vessels at sea. Constructions with all their constructs of admiralty and jurisdiction and rules and registrations and legislation. Your licenses, your permits, permissions, begging as beggars. This is what's going on. They've put the cons on the table. That's why they send a constable round with a war rant. He's ranting about war, trying to charge you because you've been caught. That's how it works. They're here to liquidate your vessels, folks. It's your cup. Because remember, money is liquidity. It's the value they're trying to extract. The cost and the value of worth from you. You want to be a little bit more vigilant, folks. And start asking why. And how. This is how they're doing it. This is how they've done it. And this is why you've got no power. Because you're lost at sea. You're dead in the water. You're in a lullaby. That's what they call a vessel when there's no air or no wind to push the vessel through the water. There's no wind, there's no sound at its peak. There's no sound at its peak. There's the wave of energy, of the frequency. There's no sound at its peak, folks. And so you're dead in the water. You're dead in the water because your words, the vehicle of communication you've been given is defective by its nature. It's defective by its nature. So you're always going to be breaking down. You're always going to have oil leaks and flat tires, and your brakes are going to be wearing out, and this is what's going on. But once we take control of these vessels, once you comprehend the level of deception that's been going on, the level of mind control and hypnotism, remember, if you don't mind, it won't matter. And if they're minding you with all this, if they're minding you, they become your minders because you haven't mind yourself. Indeed, folks. Indeed. You see how that works? What's a deed, folks? Oh, it's back to the land, Norm. It's a certificate of ownership of land, isn't it? And what's your tax? What's that tax department called, Norm? Oh, it's in land revenue. It attacks your little vessels out on the sea, open for liquidation. You're becoming insolvent, folks. You wanna gain a little bit more. I have that written down. Sure, I had that written down. No, maybe I didn't. You want to gain a little bit more. Oh, yes, I did. Here we are. You want to gain a little bit more conviction, folks. You know, the convict. Ion, you want to be on the convict. Because they talk about having conviction, don't they? A conviction. Oh, you got a conviction. Oh, but it's good to be convictious about something, though, isn't it? Oh, what else do they call us? Oh, revolting. Oh, we're revolting. You see how they've denigrated? They very cleverly built in extremely negative frequency fields, pictures. These are all pictures again, aren't they? It's just a picture. That's just a picture of a few symbols and a couple of marks, a couple of thinking on a page. To put it into ink. And that's the power of the pen too, folks, isn't it? That's the power of the pen. The pen is mightier than the sword. Indeed it is, folks. As hopefully you're starting to see. You're starting to realise the real lies with your real eyes. Because you've been spellbound. You've been spellbound into this book over here. Of all the, again, the acts, the statutes, binding. It's bound you, folks. And you're lost at sea in here. It's legalese, again, another form of language. Deliberately designed to obfuscate. And even the English language, known as an equivocal language, is there. It is a duplicit language. It's known. That's why the North American Indian said, oh, the white man speaks with a forked tongue. Indeed he does. I don't like the stereotype white man, but you get the point I mean. We need to become the masters of our ship. The masters, remember the masts? Get back to the simple rules, the simple laws. The real easy ones. Those are real easy, those ones. So simple, it's ridiculous how simple it is. That's how it works. That's how it works, folks, you know. Again, it's all about the words. And this book here tells us in the beginning was the word. The word, of course it was the word, because it's a sound, it's a frequency. Actually, it wasn't a word, it was a symbol. It wasn't a word at all, because there was no one to interpret a word at that time. Maybe it was just Om. Maybe it was the almighty Om. Who knows? But we can only ascertain what's going on by the signs and the sounds and the symbols all around us, folks. The signs are in the heavens. They say that in that book too. They also say in all religions that we came from the earth. We are part of the earth. Of course we are. The frequencies, the resonant frequencies of the earth are in tune with our body, even the moon, with all gestation cycles of most creatures on earth. I mean, it's ridiculous, the amount of evidence that's in front of our faces. But we haven't, you know, those with eyes that see and ears that listen. They look but they don't see. They hear but they don't listen. Well, it's getting to the time where your senses are being fine-tuned, because the wolves are circling the paddocks, folks. And if we're the sheep in the paddock, then, you know, of course, they get a bit restless. They start to comprehend there's something going on. They start to sense, intuit. Oh, it's turning my heater off. They start to intuit. Something's not right. Something's not sounding true or ringing true, is it? Because what we're seeing and what we're hearing seems to be two different things. But that is by the, you know, again, it comes back to, the simple things. Buyer beware. Caveat emptor. Let those that be deceived be deceived. You know, if I tell you my vehicle's worth $10,000 and you drive down the road and it craps itself, then I'm sorry, mate. You know, the onus is on you to check the legitimacy of the individual you're getting your information or whatever it is from. You know, and stuff like this, the stuff I'm showing you guys, I mean, this is in front of your face. I mean, I don't know how more obvious it can become, because it's de-spelled now for you. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. You know, over here, they want you to be ill. They send you a bill. Invoice, you're not in voice over here. You're out of voice. You're in Discord. It's the legalese, the doublespeak, the ciphers, the signs. It's the ability to lie. It's the liability over here. That's what they've done. That's how they've done it. They've got you all into this form of sense, and you've lost form of that type of sense. But as I say, at the moment, the sheep are a bit restless. Because, you know, things are going on. We have an opportunity here to take this to the whole next level, folks. We have the opportunity here to create the new world order. We are the new world order. That's how it is. We've got that power now, the opportunity. The slate is clean. We've got a clean slate, so we can translate things a bit better and get back to the real ways of living and our natural states of being, our natural harmony, our natural unity and accordance at the core of us. You know, it doesn't matter what religion you're in or what idol it is you love. All you need to do is keep to the core of yourself. Get centered back in your little house. Your bubble is you, folks. And if you don't go within, you will go without. It's pretty simple stuff. So if you've got stuff in there that you need to work out, then get it out. Be invoice yourself. Hey, communicate, talk with people. That's how we move forward. That's how energy gets put into motion. We move forward together in unity in the core of us. Remember all those teachers? Buddha was not a Buddhist, Jesus wasn't a Christian, Muhammad wasn't a Muslim. They were teachers who taught love. That's how it is, folks. That's how it is. So you and your little vessels, you can start filling up your cups, folks, and you can start quenching the thirsts of others. But make sure your cup's full first. Okay? No good driving that down the road on knowing your car might break down. You're not going to be able to drive down the road at ease. You'll be in a state of anxiety. So get yourselves into a state of calmness and compassion and sort that out. That's the first state. That's your first real estate there, folks. That's your first real estate. That's it. That's your first real estate, folks. Your mind, your state of mind. And when we've been operating at low beam for a long time. And now there's a bit of darkness out there that needs to have a bit of light shed on. Let's put it that way. And you will do that by filling your cups. And that's liquidity's measured in volume, remember, folks. So speak up, because we're allowed. We're allowed. And only the silent are dead, aren't they, folks? Only the dead are silent. That's why over here you need to be represented by someone. No one can represent you. It's a ridiculous fallacy. Only you can present yourself in the present, and that's a present, which is the gift. Remember the gift? The gift is gamma intrafallopian tube, and that's birth. So get back to the core of it. Fill your own cups first. Fill your own thirsts and quenches for knowledge. And then quench the thirst of others, because they will go on and do who knows what. And if it rings true, if the truth rings true, then it's for you. And if it's not, well, it won't be in accordance with your vibration at that time. Because frequencies and vibrations, folks, again, that's what it's about. It's all about you. It's all about you. Again, that's double speak, you know. It's all about you and it's all about you. I'll just... So, yeah, hey, thanks for joining us. Who we got here? Denise, Jenny Lynn, Evan, hey, thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. Matthew, Chair Matthew, love you too, guys. Awesome. So this is it, you know, we've all got to come together. We've all got to raise our own individual vibrations, levels of understanding, and we do that through knowledge. We do that through knowledge and learning, because learning gives us higher platforms of, it puts us on a higher rung on the ladder to be able to go to higher lengths, and it's done through the language, because you have that power. That power's within you. Your voice is incredible. What you can do with your voice, you can create worlds or you can destroy them. And unfortunately, they've left us with a language that has had division built into it. It's had division built into it by design. By design. It's very, very clever. The laws of nature are written in the language of mathematics. The symbols are triangles, circles, and other geometrical figures, without whose help it is impossible to comprehend a single word. Words are the symbols, the signs, the ciphers, the codes. All this is codes. You're all running the codes. Over here you've got your drinking code, driving code, whatever code, every code. It's all code. You guys, they're telling you it's code. So you need to start finding the keys to the code. I thought I had keys written up there. Oh yes, I did. Keys has yes in it. See that? Interesting, because K's silent sometimes, you know, it's silent sometimes, like in the night. So that's how it is. So we can, you know, once you start to understand this and comprehend this and start to get it working for you from the core of yourself, with your cup being filled and your love overflowing, man, we're unstoppable, folks. We're unstoppable. And it's unstoppable anyway. It's happening anyway, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. Truths and realizations and your own, you know, you've had a lot of time to sit and think, folks. It's been beautiful. It's been a beautiful thing. You've had a lot of time to reorganize the thoughts of your mind and analyze your own worlds and your own bubbles, and you've had a lot of time to reflect. And reflection's a beautiful thing, because it helps you to look upon yourself, folks. That's how it is. I'm not sure how long I've been going for. Actually, I'll just check. I'll keep it under. Oh, yeah, we've got another 10 or so minutes yet. So, yeah. So, what else have we got here? So, again, caveat emptor. But truth rings true. And this is what's happening now. Whether you like it or not, truth's coming. You know, the veils of deception, the veils of lies, they're dissolving. They're dissolving in front of our faces, because, you know, more people are starting to speak out and speak up and find their voices. That's what you have to do. You have to find your voice. Raise it. Because, again, over here we're silent. Over there we have a voice. That's the real estate over here. That's the real state of mind we want to be in. And our state of mind is vocal. Again, it's no coincidence. Local's close to vocal, you know. These words will reveal to you greater understandings, overstandings, and finally understandings. And raise your insight. Again, it can incite and it can incite. But if there's none of this, then there's no emotion. You know, there's no going forward. Get this stuff out. You've got to get this stuff out, because that will lead to that. And not only that, you getting your stuff out will encourage others to be able to step up to the plate and say, oh, bro, I feel the same way. Oh, I got the same thing going on in my head or my backyard, or I got that same environment. Well, you know, loneliness is a terrible thing, folks. And this stuff's pain. And when you're in pain, you're alone. And hopefully that will incite you to raise your voice, to speak up and speak out. You know, well, I've often caught myself saying, oh, I don't have ESP, I can't understand what you're thinking. You know, to a certain level we can't. We can see when we've got our eyes open, folks, and our intuition's humming, and we're at this centre here, then we can see and we can absorb and we can dissolve anything that arises, because we'll shed the light on it and bring it up to the forehead, to the centre and to the crown and to the temple of truth, knowledge, understanding and your own power. And it's happening anyway, whether you like it or not. So step up to the plate, you lovelies, you lights out there in the dark. Step up, start raising your voices. Start being the lantern in the lighthouse at night. For the lost ships out there that are dead in the water. Because there's a lot of lost souls out there, folks. But that's up to us. It's up to you to master your own accordance. Become your own authority, folks. You are the author of your rights. Become your own authority. Enlighten yourself with knowledge, which gives you power, puts you in accord, which is energy flows through, and it gives an arc, and a current gives an arc, its frequency, its measurement. That is the covenant. That is the arc of the covenant, folks. You are the battery, the cell, which is the pending. Isn't that pending? Isn't your charge, the charge of your accordance, when you're sectioned and in the dock and fined and charged and ticketed, the cell, which is pending? You want to be open, folks. Not sold or sold. Mind you, we like a good sail, don't we? And to buy something at the sail as we sail by, as we wave goodbye to the land. Yeah. Okay, I might leave it there. I think I've gone on just about under an hour. Hey, thanks guys for joining us. Again, we are the ones we've been waiting for. It's up to you guys. Start raising your voices. Start getting back on the land. Get into your homesteads. Find your tribes. Your tribe is your vibe, folks. Get back there. Bit of that would be good too. A bit more of that, because we all know how it ends up. We know how it ends up. It's pretty simple stuff. It's pretty simple stuff. So thanks for joining us again on another day with the smorgasbord of truth, because there's more gas in this board of truth, folks. In fact, it's a never-ending board. Hope you didn't get too bored. But we've gone over a little bit more information, which puts us all in formation a bit closer to the goals and the outcomes and the manifestations that we can create as God's creators that we are. Because we are. And I am. And so are you. So are you, little vessels. Fill up your cups so that you can quench the thirst of others. Get back to the truth of the matter. Your truths. Your truths, folks. Go for a walk in the bush, or go and put your feet in the ocean, or do what you got to do to get back to your centre so you can fill your own cup up. That's what you've got to do for you, because when you do that, you make others around you stronger. Okay? We do that with love, folks. Compassion, kindness and empathy. And if we haven't got that in ourselves, then don't go trying to give it to others, because it'll be a car that breaks down on the way. That's how it works. It's your gift of divinity. Whichever idol or whatever it is you want to put to that, it's your gift of divinity, folks. Get back to the truth. Get back to your truth, because that matters. You matter. Get back to your heart. Get back to the heart of the matter. The heart is where the home is. We all like to be homies, don't we? Alrighty guys, thanks for joining us. Love and light to yous. Oh, you can go to me Facebook page. I just want to give myself a bit of a punt. So there's Me Not the Norm. Facebook, but it's a bit hard to find actually, because like you best to if you search for that particular video there, Pissed Off Kiwi. I got pulled over by the cops one time. And also this page here. Okay, one of the things that we are doing, folks, is we're trying to get all this stuff here onto a particular piece of paper in motion that gives us all something to put to the powers that think they be, where the lines in the sand are. Okay, and this is all being done with the local lawyer here in Nelson, Sue Gray. She's also the candidate for the running head of the her and Ellen, the outdoors party here in Nelson, well, across New Zealand, of course. She's got candidates all over the country. But yeah, the Common Law Association New Zealand, otherwise known as CLANS. I set this group up quite a long time ago. It's great to see a lot of people joining us in the last month or so. It's absolutely fantastic, because people are starting to see that there is need to be change, and we've got to change, and we've got a runaway government. We've got a government that doesn't listen to anything that people are telling them, and that's got to change. So we need to redraw the lines in the sand, or have some other independent bodies that can start holding individuals accountable who are not, or who are in breach of our inalienable human rights, folks. So I'll leave you with that. Yeah, get in touch, love and light. Stay informed and speak up and speak out. Thanks, guys. Love you as always. Catch you next time. What are you doing? Are you up there? Come on. What are you doing up there? You'll be hot. Who's hot, Teddy? Hot.